Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and this is the designer for From the Depths. And we are in part 2 of our Sea Carrier design build. So it is a bit dark here and I'm moving up because it's right above me. It's just hovering there. I've got it in stabilised build mode at the moment. Hopefully there'll be some time codes down below. Down in the comments in the description of the video, if you just want to jump to the relevant parts about the build as we're going through. So last time we got the basic hull sorted and the balancing of the engines sort of sorted. It's a little unstable. I might have a work on it, but it's an interesting thruster based design that balances itself using advanced control blocks, which was the aim. It's not necessarily the most effective vehicle. I just wanted to do it to see whether we could, and it's worked itself out quite nicely so far. A little bit of tuning that needs to be done maybe on some of the values to make it less wobbly, and some of that could come down to tuning out the amount of change that it does, or increasing the blocks under certain conditions or certain values. So that needs to be looked at, but generally it's operational. So what we're going to do on this build, we'll see how time goes and how we get on with it. But intention is going to be defences. Before I put the spawning part on this, or the docking station part, I need to get the defences sorted on this gun. So that's going to be so the basic idea today, or the basic idea for defences, are going to be multiple defence areas. We've obviously started by putting these guns on, but I'm going to improve them, enlarge the barrels, maybe give them a little bit of gauge, just increase their size a little bit to make them a little better. They're quite fast firing, but we might sacrifice some of that for a bit of oomph. But we'll keep them low range. I want to increase the accuracy a little bit without trying to make them too accurate. One of their advantages is their inaccuracy, because they just spray the whole area with weaponry. We obviously also need to sort out making sure this one doesn't attack the one in front of it, and the guns don't actually destroy the ship in general. Either would be a bad idea. Then, system number 2, we will have some at the moment. I don't want this to be an offensive vessel. Most of the defences I'm putting in here, I want to intentionally have as short range weapons as defensive only. If something comes in close, it will start attacking it, but it's not. The intention is the docked ships are the main attackers. This just sits at distance and hovers there defending itself. So if someone comes within a particular range, the guns will fire. So we're going to have some missile systems, possibly some dropped missile systems. So rather than being vertically launched, they're actually they're vertically launched but downwards. So we'll drop some missiles at the bottom for short range against any little nasties that come within. Again, fairly short range. We'll just pepper them with various missiles. We'll work a few options out. I've got 2 choices. One is just having some dropped missiles and just let them go at it. We obviously have to be careful we don't hit ourselves. But I'm thinking if we drop them with a delay, they'll drop down, one turn, point them, fire. Basically. We could also alternatively have a missile system somewhere, say middle-ish, say around here, which fires horizontally. So if anything gets within the 90-degree arc of this bay, it will just chuck out all of its missiles at the target. That's another possible easy implementation, maybe about this level. Put about 8 or so missiles either side, and they only fire when the target's within that 90-degree cone. Plus or minus a bit, that's also a possibility. Rather than one advantage of that is it doesn't mean putting a hole in the base of the ship. We can just go, say, a 4-block missile, because it's short range. Yeah, say 4 blocks in here, some controllers. Yeah, that might be a wise plan there. So we'll possibly look at that. What else have we got? A flare system. We'll have some detected flare systems, some detectors around for enemy missiles, and put a flare dispenser somewhere on the bottom, definitely underneath on the bottom. Might do that last, actually, once we've got most of it. And then the other part is armour. We're going to armour this up. It's going to be taking damage. Now, one is shields. We will get shields. We need to put some good engines in this, and I'm going to go in there and redesign the engine. Possibly multiple engines as well. One is going to be a primary engine, and the secondary engine similar to what we've got at the moment. Let's see how much power we're using at the moment. We're only using about 500. Once we get, we work out how much is required, we will get the engines. Required to keep this airborne. We'll get one engine is going to be purely just for supplying the power. So if the primary engine gets taken out, it would still provide enough power to allow this vehicle to fly, basically, without dropping out of the sky. And then we'll have a primary engine whose job is maybe possibly at the back here, above these, somewhere around here. Or maybe even 2 back here, which is their primary job is supplying power for all the shields, and then we're going to have shields all over various levels. Other armour part is in a lot of the sides. I think I'm going to double up on the metal armour on the side, so we have a 2 thickness side armour in most places. Not everywhere, but in most places. And underneath, we'll have some more metal armour and a load of wood everywhere. Maybe on the side. Some of these areas I've got to see. We might be able to put some, if it doesn't interfere with the guns, over top of here. I like the wood. Couple of reasons. Some people don't like the wood. I like the wood. I think it gives it a sort of like appeal. Of the turtle. It gives us, it's got a shape that I like. We can always colorise it, but I'm going to use some of the angled blocks like I've done on the top of the turtles to make this very turtly. And on the bottom I might have a load of rams and some more wood. The other reason I like wood is if something gets through the shields, this is the first stage, so hopefully most things will bounce off the shield. If it does get through the shield, quite often it might just hit a bit of wood, and that it's dulled enough, that's just enough to stop it getting through. Lots of wooden blocks means if it gets deflected slightly, it hits the wood, a small bit of damage, that reduces the damage that would otherwise go through to the metal. So we're actually extending the life of the metal with wood. Yes, it would be better just to have more metal. Don't disagree with that, but also the metal weighs a hell of a lot. Thirdly, repair. Wood will get repaired very quickly. That means holes all the way into the inside will possibly be covered by a piece of wood at least. That gives us a chance of deflection rather than it going through and possibly taking out the AI engine, blah blah, etc, etc. We're up to fourth one with wood, EMPs. With the new EMP systems, obviously not used by the enemy yet, and I will be putting some EMP protection in here. But generally, if we're going to have lots of possible EMPs, the wood will protect it. So they'll hit the wood instead of the metal. So hopefully the EMP warhead won't transfer as much power, or it will get reduced before it goes through to take out our AI, etc. We will put our main AI quite possibly on a wooden bed. So it's going to be on wood, covered in wood, just to double check it. Some of the control blocks we'll leave where they are. Right, let's get ourselves on here. Okay, so let's start. Where are we going to start with? Let's start with modifying these guns. So let's go and modify in here. Now, the idea I had was, let's see, we'll go, actually, let's choose a different gun. Let's choose this one here, because I've got to make sure it doesn't go too far forward. Right, so if I take that and whoops, that's done that. Put that one in there, and then put, let's see, more custom cannons, normal barrel, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be enough. So that's going to just increase it by 1 on each of them. Then if we leave that part alone, the main top part, the other place I can make some changes is just here. That's the wrong thing. Have we got a 6-way here somewhere? No, we haven't. Okay, I can't make any changes there. I thought that might be a 6-way down here. Now, okay, I can either, what's our fire rate and everything? Are we going for high speed ammo? Where's the firing bit? Where's the firing piece? It's here somewhere. Let's just go to a P so I can get it up. Too high. There we go. And my interface is not on. There we go. Interface on. Come on. There we go. Right, reload time. So my reload time is very fast. So, okay, I might let's leave it like that then. Let's just go for lots of small, but our accuracy is a little bit better, 242. So, okay, let's just do that quickly on each of the guns, just to mod them a little bit. Okay, other bit I have to do for each of the guns is going to be putting a local weapon controller on. Each is going to need their own. I'm going to put the mirror line on before I forget. Now we're getting close to that sort of time. So it's got to be in line with the controller, with the weapon. Oh, I like that. It's got a quick mouse to aim. That's a nice one for the help menu. I hadn't noticed that before. So that's now controlling that, and we will need to put in a receiver on each of these. There we go. And we'll sort out the heights in a bit. And we need to do the same on these two now. Let's get the height right there, and it's just there. There. And there we'll just need to put a wireless. Now we're not going to put a fail-safes on these. Had problems with fail-safes. Still not happy that they work really well. Oops, wrong one. Wireless local weapon controller. They seem to be a bit finicky at best. Maybe is the best way to say. So not going to use them basically. I'd rather do this with limiting their area of action. So we're going to look at this on this one to get some settings. So if I just go in here and bring up Q, and then we say constraints. Now this one we'll have to, actually the better one to look this at, it should be the same for all of them, right? So we want to make sure that its actual firing arc on the back here won't, if I just come out of that, and go in again here when facing this way. Cute. Is not going to shoot our own gun in front of us. So that looks like it's going to be about 170. Let's get a little closer to the center point of the gun and see how low we can make that. 173. We'll make this 173. Okay, so that means the other way is also going to have to be, we're going to have to come through all the way around. It's the opposite of 180, so it's going to be 7. Now I'm not sure here, if I set this one here, will it sort of literally, is this for forward and back, or is it as the vehicle changes angle? Hopefully you understand what I mean, is that I can have this one firing more forward but have the rear of it firing back. That's something, does this change with the rotation of the turret or not? So we're going to set this like here and we're going to see. So we'll set this one so it can actually go forward by 7. Just for the moment, like that, and then up and down. Up is going to be just this way is going to be, say, about 100. I think it does actually work in that particular fashion. So 100 and down. How far down can we go? Let's say we're going to go down to about there. 110. There we go. Somewhere like that. And accuracy required 2 degrees. No firing delay. Okay, I'm going to put this on a number 5. Then I'm going to go to my character, which means coming out of build mode. Okay, I can do this differently. Let's go and give myself a fire control computer just for the moment. There we go. Oh, don't need 2 of them. Just 1, please, just behind me. There we go. Now, if I go here and go 5, whoops, didn't want to do that. Cute, getting there. Now, where's me gun? Where's me gun? One of these guns should be getting controlled by me now. There we go. And are you going down? Yes. So if I point that way a little bit, yes. So now I'm going to point all the way backwards, and yeah, he's not. Although I'm going that way, he's not actually firing at the turret. If I go all the way forward. Yes, that worked quite well. They're definitely machine guns. While the ammo lasts, they're going to do quite well. Okay, so that works. I'm happy with that. We will go back into build mode and stabilise this. As you can see, it's flying quite nicely. Gone up to actually a little higher than I intended, but not in the moment of that either. I think once I put some more weight on this, we'll have more height problems than we have at the moment. So, okay, I'm just going to copy this around. So, let's just do a copy of this because I can reuse it. Q, copy to clipboard, and then Q, paste from clipboard. Now, the only difference on here is we're going to have to change this front angle to not touch here. Now, one thing is we can just increase this here and then take it down until it's touching there, and then back up a bit. There we go. So minus 5, minus 5, minus 5. And is the rear one going to touch? Let's just 77? No, we'll go to that 76. 76. Okay, the rest of it can stay the same. So that's that one done. And this one here is going to be paste from clipboard. There's going to be a couple of changes in that this one's going to be it's going to be reversed actually. This one's going to go. We need to actually reverse this. This is going to have to be reversed, so we'd have to flip the constraints. So this one is going to go that way. This one's going to go. Let's just get this right. Where is it? Is it there? No, that's not right. No, I can't flip. It's not a flip. It's not a flip. Let's just get this right. Right, so that way is going to be about there, and this way, I can only go that maximum of that. That's a little annoying. Okay, let's flip them around. Let's see. So if I go this way, that's allowing me to connect to there, fine, and then this way. No, see, that's gone backwards, facing totally the opposite into the ship, so it can't be flipped that way. Okay, we've just got some limits on the back, so it's going to be 180 there, and let's make these big. How much room does it need? Needs a bit more than that, just to make sure. About that 7, we've done a 7 degrees, so 7 degrees. That's fine. Okay, now we'll go over to the other side and just do these ones. Okay, so that's those bits done. We will need to complete the top of this and mirror line, just to get an idea of where the top of our ship is. All the way along, so this will be the upper deck. Yes, I should be using a keyboard command. At least I've remembered the mirror line. So, you know, I'm not a total idiot, just pretty much an idiot, but, you know, just not a total one. Honest. Let's see if I can fill this in here while I'm here. 1, 2, yes, that's good. Okay, so we've got a 4 height deck here. Right, so next on the list was the missile system. So let's find a little missile system that would be good for close range missile defense. Now we could have 4, maybe a double height bank of 4 out each side rather than a wide one, just to be a little different. So where should we have it? We'll have it out the back, firing about, which one should we go for? That's going to be 8, so if we say there and there, that'll be the height of these. We'll just take those out, so it's in the centre, basically. Now we're going to need missiles, obviously. We'll put the blocks down. These are just going to be simple side fire. Oh no, I can't do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to make these just basically very fast firing, would be the intention. Not by having them small. So by the nature of the fact that they are a small number of blocks, we'll make them work, for want of a better word. So that should be fine. Just trying to think of any problems with this particular setup. No, the side firing missile works on a lot of the other ships I've got, and I quite like them. Now I'm going to put an ejector on them as well, just to, because I think that will look nice when we see them being shoved out the side and then they come launching back in again. I think that would be rather neat. As far as missiles go, I think that'd be a good design. Again, I can either make this a single controller does all of them, or have them left and right sided. Now I was thinking about having them say just went that way or they just went that way. What I might have them do now is we'll have a single controller, missile controller in. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to join these together. Let's have one of those there, and then put the missile controller just here, and we'll put the friend and foe. We can just then stagger them up on here, and the staggered fire. When I have these fire quickly, they're going to be short range. If someone comes in range, it's all missiles fire. Right, we will then need a weapon controller with a radio, a quick little wireless receiver, and we're just going to make these a fairly simple missile. Let's just go onto this one. They're going to be fast, with a startup delay of 2 seconds on that one, and 4 seconds, and then a fin. Or shall I make them? No, let's have them 2 thins, 2 fuel tanks, target precision, explosive, infrared, fragmentation. We like frags. Go for the frags. Fragmentation, and we're going to make them fairly armor piercing. So that would give them a range of, let's see, a 4 without any adjustments. 4 fuel tanks will get to about 1500. So this will make it about a range of about 700, which is actually a lot closer than I need. I could make it a 400. Put that extra fuel. Oh no, I need a 1. I just thought of something. Can't do that. Fuel tank. I need a 1 ton in there. So that's going to restrict them basically. Assign that to all missiles. Okay, now what I'm going to do is on each bank is make this one is going to be an explosive, so there and there will be an explosive, and the last one will be an EMP. And I went too far. This one here changed the warhead. That's supposed to be EMP there, and that's supposed to be infrared. Where's infrared? Infrared. Oops. There we go. So we just do make sure that's all taken effect on the other side. So this should have the right delay. So that's the arming delay. Thruster is also 2 seconds. That's fine. So we have frag, explosive. Where's that explosive? There and there, and then an EMP just for giggles. I quite like the EMP. So when something comes in, that's done a fire, and bish bash bosh, done. So it's mainly air targets. We're going to set the ranges up here, so no minimum range, but say a maximum range of say 500. And with its the delay on the actually I'm going to change, yeah, we're going to say 600 actually, because thinking about it, as it comes in, the missiles are going to fire and then they've got 2 seconds of delay. In that delay, a ship could come forward towards it by, you know, if they've got 80, 100, nearly 200 meters. So that means as it's charging in, these will effectively shoot at it when it's 400 meters away, which is in combat range, but hey ho. Now this is going to be aimed at mainly going for minimum altitude for flying targets. So it's going to have to be above, say, 20. I could not do this, but we got guns. This is defensive. So 20, no maximum, no everything else just there. That'll be fine. The guns are actually going to sort themselves out because they've got that 2 degree before firing. They should be fine. They should be fine. Now the only thing we've got on here, we haven't got to do any. Come on. Okay, we haven't got to worry about firing. We're going to put this as a maximum, no limit on the accuracy on there, because these can fire at any angle. Now, I believe only people have had problems with vertical launch. I've never had a problem with vertical launched missiles personally, but you know, some people have been having problems with it. So in case there's some code change, we'll set it in that particular fashion. So that's that done. Okay, now it's time for armour. So that's the defensive missile systems, defensive cannon systems. It's going to be armouring and a little bit of coloration on the outside, and then we'll finish off the inside part once that's been done. So I'll fast forward through most of this armouring, I think, because you don't want to see me just putting bits of metal blocks everywhere. Well, maybe you do. So I'll do it as a fast forward just to save you looking at it, or click on the time codes down below. That's what I put them there for, so that you can have a look and just move fast forward to the bit you do want to look. This will just as I think this will be a slope here, typical of the standard systems I've done. Also, because we need a launch pad on the top, I'm going to use those. Going to extend the front of this quite up a bit, up high, using slopes out this way, possibly. Yeah, out as far as there, and that'll be like the front of the launch deck when we come to do the launching from the runway on the top, because I'm going to build a little runway on there. So that was there, and we'll have this coming up here, but it's going to be well armoured. We want to make sure this doesn't get blown off, but there'll be some utilities up here. Okay, see you in a short while. Hello and welcome back. So this is the state we've got at the moment of the ship. I'm quite liking the looks of it. Done some work with the wood, giving it a bit of shape, a bit of colour. Obviously not colour, but the wood itself gives it some texture. You know, there's these bits of metal. Maybe if there was some, except for its protection level, maybe I might work on colouring some of these turrets and the exposed bits to be a more wooden type of colour. But anyway, what we now got to think about at this next stage, I think, is the engines, because at the moment I don't know if this thing will fly. Plan at the moment is potentially, I think, 3 engines. We might try and get onto a couple of engines in the back here. Looking at this, we can take that off there. Yeah, we can get a couple of engines going along here at the back. Maybe just a single crank. It's not single crank, single cylinder going along, but 2 of them going quite far this way. As such, that's a possibility. We'd have to allow a little bit for this turret, but otherwise they could come. Or we could actually make one, or potentially one, actually, second thoughts, one very large engine here. Yeah, okay, straight down the centre. That way I haven't got to worry about these on the side. So that's engine number 1. And then engine number 2 we might put on the front here just as a secondary, just to in case engine number 1 gets damaged, and this will just be basically to cover, give it about 500, 600, just so just to cover, just in case the primary gets damaged in some way. Okay, that's going in there like that. Perfect. Okay, so let's quickly build this engine. Quick design. We'll start with the engine block in the back. I can't tell which way is correct, so we're going to do that, and then put the crankshaft in. Whoops, and I've already started not on the mirror line. Engine block just there. Crankshaft, it's got to go that way round. Okay, now if we put the first cylinder, does it say it's connected? Not connected, so we have to take this. It has been listed, and they are looking into this, or other people have noticed exactly the same issue. Okay, now we need cranks. That's not the right one. Edit crankshaft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that should do. Let's see how much power we can get out of this puppy. I'm going to use my triple raised design. See what power it gives. No, that's the wrong place. Definitely wrong place. I have got this actually as a sub object, but I'd like to build it each time. You never know, I might see something to change. Haven't yet, but every time I build it, I always think of something that I could possibly do to it to get it slightly more efficient. It's not using the game mechanic of an overly extended, but it's still quite extended. We'll see what power actually comes out of this at the end. Now the superchargers go in the centres to get the maximum. Oh, missed one there. So that way, go in there, they hit where there's a 4 as such. Then I normally just put them on these, whoops, the top ones here, and then everything else is engine, fuel blocks. Now there was a new interesting item which I haven't played with actually yet. Let's have a check of it in a second. I think it takes up space. It's it is cosmetic, so it's not a requirement as such. But let's go and have a look at that in a second. So let's see how much power that's given. 3.5. I think that was about 3,500. We might need more. Yeah, I'm going to extend this out a little bit further. Give this a few more cranks. Let's see, where are we there? So that's there. Not happy with that. I think I need silly amounts of power on this one. Don't want to take any risk of it being hit by cannon fire, especially when we go up against the next group of enemies, which are going to be soon. They're going to have a significant number of cannons, which they will be using against me. They were shooting at me, lots of them. Right, supercharger, and one in there. I'm sure this could be a little bit more efficient in places. The ratio of some of the superchargers is potentially not as good as it could possibly be, I think. So we could have things, right, we've got nowhere else to put. What's that put it up to? 7,500. That's a bit better. It's a big engine, yes. Theoretically we could put an engine block on the other side, but I'm not going to. Down here I might put some ammo, some ammo, but might also put some of the resource creators. Ammo, where are we? Ammo processors. Yeah, we'll most probably put a shed load of these down here. Although it's not going to fire too much, I'm going to have this give resources to other vehicles that come in range. So it's going to need a fair bit of potential power. Right, let's put the other engine just here. This is going to be a slightly different design. It's a slightly different design. Let's get my words correct. It's a design. We'll go whoops, a little bit into here, but not too far. Now this is going to be just not as efficient a design. That's why I'm making it a little longer, because it's going to be a basic boxer. Because I don't want to go too high on here, because I'll be impeding on what's effectively the runway. So I want to keep this a little bit lower, extending outwards a bit. But the power doesn't have to be as much on this particular one, or certainly my intention is not to have the power as much. We'll put carburetors on the top, because that will benefit it, and that will fit in. And we're going to have one more layer so something can go on the top. Right, superchargers. We'll put some superchargers in the. Let's see where they get the most effect. On the threes on the end. Let's put them just there on each of these, and then fuel tanks everywhere else. See what that gives us. Again, could be a little bit more efficient, but if it does the job. You know, I do like trying to get as efficient as possible. It's not always possible though. Right, is that actually operational? That's 1,600, so that's more than enough to operate the vehicle in general. We'll just give it some oil, some fuel storage on here, and that'll be more than enough. We'll give it some. So this one can have some as well down the back. Just to, so it's got its own little storage area. That's also storage for what it can give to other people as well. So it's got plenty of oil, and we'll put some resource, not gatherers, but resource producers think of the right word. They are resource supply pumps at various places near when we dock ships to refuel and rearm the various vehicles. So that's cool. Just going to check something. Yeah, we're not that expensive at the moment. 3,000 blocks, 500,000. It's not that powerful a ship at the moment. It's not overly powerful, certainly. Right, decking. Right, we're going to have 2 decks. Let's put first of all the slope on here. We're going to use some wood. Maybe, yeah, we're going to use some wood. Up 2 meter on the front. Just, no, we've got a metal bit there, but hey ho. And then we're going to put wooden blocks up on the front, which will be our protective layer in case we have any accidents with docking ships, because that is going to be a problem. We've got to test this out, but when the ships dock, it tends to, yeah, it tends to go all over the bloody place on occasion, which is somewhat annoying. And we'll have to work our way through it to minimise that as much as we can. So this is the decking. Now I'm not gonna, we'll mostly put some other bits up on here. We won't put all of the, ooh, that's the right word I'm looking for here. Don't know, what word am I looking for? Please, if you know, please leave in the comments below. Yeah, brain's suddenly having a moment. Do apologise, yeah. We're not going to need runway on all of this because they are docked. The runway's more for artistic and just in case. We've got ones that don't launch nicely. Some of the ships are going to be fine, like the darts, etc. And a lot of them will launch out the side just to be on the safe side. So we'll put them sort of hanging over the side. But most of them I want on the deck. A couple of reasons. A, I think it looks nicer. And I think that's an important A, in that it looks like they've come from the top of the ship. I think that's important, you know, sort of. Right, we need to put one more in, and then we'll go up a little bit, because this is going to be a raised area, just to get above this engine. Is that high enough to get above the engine? Or do I need one more? No, that's high enough. That's high enough. Okay. Let's just verify. Yeah, there we go. Not worried if they stick out a little bit from the top here. So this is all flight deck so far. Okay, we'll block that in a little bit later. So next we'll put the actual flight deck in, which I'll try and do a little bit easier. So if we have it there but not all the way across, so let's have the rubber flight deck sort of going here, up this way, lots of rubber, why not, to there. Yeah, we'll use some 4 meter slopes at the front and maybe some repair tentacles. Now, can I do this? Some days this works and some days it doesn't. There we go. Excellent. And then we'll have some blocks going down, 2 meter down. I should do something else other than wood, but hey ho, it's a wooden ship. It's looking like wood. Would I or would I not attack it? Would be the question. Now, what should we do? We'll do something interesting here. Yeah, I'm going to do it like this. Which you'll say, well, that's not actually in line, which is true. But I'm also going to use some of that space for, also lines up there nicely, which is important. You know, got to have it lining up, and then we're going to use some one slopes. Oops, if I move over like this, in here. Need to turn them up so that is showing. There we go. There we go. I like that. I like that. Gives it a bit of texture, so to speak. Giving it texture. Right. Excellent. Right, we'll just extend that one on a little bit more. And yes, I have to put the triangle in. Brain's working otherwise. There's loads of little places, I'm sure, where little triangles have got to go. So this will be, this area here I will build up a little bit, I think, to have the act as the conning tower, for want of a better word, and which we'll sort of do now. We'll have some beams. So it'll be the captain's area, potentially. Let's see, how big are we going to have to go? We'll go across here. We'll put some decking in. There we go, and then up to. So he's got a little bit of a area. So this will be the flight platform, and then potentially, actually, it could be hangar area. Yes, it's got that look to it now. Yes, using a fair bit of wood. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a wooden flight deck. And then off of this, we can put some of the docking stations. So we can have docking stations in here at the various levels. We'll have to work out the levels we need for each of the planes, and then they can have an angle and a distance to basically park the ships at various points along the flight deck, aiming slightly up. Some of them in the centre and some of them left, right, etc. Depending on what we go. And then there may be some on the outside over here, pointing up or down. So that would be fine. We'll see how that one goes, and we'll put a little area for us to sit in there, I think. Okay. So what is next? That's the majority of this. Oh, flare system. Flares. And not the ones you wear. We don't want those type of flares. We want different types of flares. We want flares that tell us that, oh shit, we're being targeted type flares. So, okay, let's put these in. The easiest way I have found of doing these is with a 6-way connector. So if we put one on the back as a starting point, somewhere where it's going to get good visibility and see all the flares that are coming in. So we want to be able to see, well, most we put 4 in there, 4 of these, one on each side and at the front, to try and detect as many flares as we can. I normally stick it out a little bit, and then we put a receiver on the top so it can connect to a mainframe. And did I use the right block there? That was a 6-way, wasn't it? Yep, that is right. And then, okay, I've got to just do it this way because I haven't bothered to unlock it in the stories. There. And I don't know if I'm going to need the one underneath, but I'll put the one underneath as well, just to be on the safe side. So they've each got a 90-degree angle, and then we're going to need one, let's say about there, or maybe near the bottom. Let's put it in just here. Okay, AI. 6-way connector, wireless receiver on the top, and then put our missile warners there and underneath. And that will cover the 90 degrees that way and underneath, so that will give us that way. The one at the rear will cover the rear, so that's fine. It's the only one but hopefully it's the only one we need, and the one at the rear will also cover this way as well. So we've got a couple covering each side, and that should have put, the rear line should have put one at this side. Excellent. Now we just need one on the front. So where are we going to put it on the front? Now we can just put it up here. That's not a problem. We'll put it right in the centre in there. We'll replace this block here. So we'll put a, where are we? 6-way connector. So how many do I need? We're going to have this detect forward, left, right. So it's gonna, I want it to stick out actually. So it's going to have to go out there. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Okay, let's put it in here. About 6-way connector. Just there. Okay, let's put it there and put this one of these rams back. So it will just detect in front, I think. We'll put the wireless receiver on the back of it. That's not connected. And then we'll put the here and there. Now what I might do is I'll have a look. That should cover us for the moment. It's a little exposed. That's the bit I don't like. Now the one thing I haven't done now is put in the, what am I looking for? What am I looking for? I'm looking for miscellaneous shield projectors. So we're going to put the shield projectors, but I'll leave them for the moment. I think I'll do them last because they get in the way when I'm actually trying to build. But we've got quite a bit of power for putting the shields in. So, okay, we've got a good starting point. I'm going to stop at this point because the next stage is going to be sorting out and testing docking, which is problematic in setting up all of the angles so that when the ships come back in, they go to the right places. But yeah, I think this would be adequate. Okay, there is one thing let's just check. Does this actually fly? Yes, it does. Look at that. So it is still flying. Excellent. Excellent. And we have guns. Oops, if I go to my position into here. So anything comes close. Wouldn't I have machine guns going like, oh, that one seems to be stuck on something. Okay, so we've got a bit of a stick there, and we do have a rolling issue. Okay, so there's a couple of things I will have to sort out, just to sort out why it's rolling over. Potentially, I took the stabilizers out. I haven't replaced those stabilizers again. So there's a couple of little things I've got to do, which I now do offline, just to stabilize it again, and sort out what I did on here to stop this turret moving around. Is it? Maybe it's there a little too close. Let's just see if that was enough just to... No? Is it? It's not blocking on those, it's something else. It doesn't like... That's strange. The other ones don't mind having items so close. I'm guessing if this does actually end up falling in the water... did I set these all to main? Main, yeah. Main, yeah. These ones are set to main, yeah. Okay, I did. I wondered. Whoops, get off that. So these are getting caught on something, but these ones here don't mind having things very close to it. They're turning without a problem, and they've got a block underneath. and they've got a block. Look, they've got a block right there as well. So they're okay with turning. So this one hasn't got any blocks there, but it doesn't want to turn. Let's just check the other side as well. Okay, that one. Let's remove that one there and that one there, just in case. Right. Yeah, they all don't mind turning around. There's only one way, so it turns up that way, okay. It's just not going down. It's going up, which makes me think, have I added something to one of these guns and not realised? Maybe I've connected on something and didn't realise it. That looks all okay. Nothing sort of especially wrong with that. Oh, actually that is turning all the way around now. Let's just see if this side's doing the same. So, plenty of testing needed when doing these things. Oh, that one's no longer. Maybe it's because of where I'm looking. Now this one doesn't want to turn around. This one's stuck now instead. Okay. See if you turn around. There's something just here which is blocking you. Okay, let's take that out, and the same on that side. Obviously doesn't like being quite as close as I originally intended. I've not really had too many problems with that in the past, but for some reason at the moment that's giving problems. Okay, that's turning around 100%. No, it's getting there and stopping. Right, what's it failing to? What's it? That's just dastardly annoying that it's connecting on something. There's nothing there. It's nothing. Is it the radar guidance? I bet it's that. I bet it was that. I bet it was that. I bet it was that. Yes, it was. Okay. Sometimes the silliest things catch you out. That's something I've noticed. Anyway. Definitely calling it now. Leave any comments below. Watch out yourself for silly little things like radar controllers, which I'm now going to have to move over here. I think I'll move this. But leave any comments below about these silly little things that I'm finding, such as life, you know. So until next time, keep building. Work on the campaign and have fun.